Good morning, friends. Hey, Chris Sauls here, episode one of Thinking Thursday. And the first thing that came to mind today is what's happening in our technology world? What's going on with technology companies? Is the AI evolution, is it taking over? Is it changing the market? And what can you do? So, jumping straight into those topics and jumping straight into this particular piece of material, I would say that yes, the AI evolution is upon us. I've said for many years that automation would basically evolve and it would turn things that we do day to day in the technology industry. It would make some of the roles that we have in the past, it would make some of those obsolete. And I can't say that it's made many obsolete at this point, but it is definitely changing the face of technology companies. It's making them reevaluate how they do things on a daily basis. It's definitely making sure that we have, the right things in place with staff, the tools, and the tools are evolving rapidly. I see this thing vibe coding, right? I look at that and I think about using something like Microsoft Copilot or, ChatGPT, just any of the mainstream AI tools that are out there. I mean, you've got Claude. There are others, but out of those, what does that really mean to the workforce? So, really stepping into this idea that, now you can have an assistant in your pocket. I know that seems a little strange to say, but many of us that have worked in the, technology industry for years, we've always wanted someone to, maybe be there, maybe like peer programming. I mean, I've done that in the past and that's worked out really well. But what is it like to have a peer programming partner that, you don't have to run over to their cube? And now that we have the remote workforce, which is a whole other topic I would love to get into on Thinking Thursday, but what are you thinking right now about AI? What is it that is preventing you from adopting it and or what's causing you a hesitation if you're in the technology workplace? So if you're a software developer, software engineer, IT analyst, IT systems administrator, any of the technologist roles that exist out here in companies, I mean, you got Google, you got Meta, you've got all companies today have some level of tech staff. Pretty much at any size, there's someone, even if you're in a small company, 10 employees or less, there's somebody that is the tech go-to. Often that might be the owner, that could be the person that started the company. They might be the tech go-to. But almost all companies today, as they get started, have someone that is the technical lead or the technical strategist. What right now is preventing you from looking at how you're using your tech and not looking at AI in ways to enhance the current staff and likely maybe even restructuring some of your existing staff in these places? What's preventing that? Now, I'm not talking about going out and laying off thousands of employees, but I am talking to the technologists out there today, and I really want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to understand what I am saying, that I believe and what I see and what I'm learning more about each day. I'm hopping over here to some notes. Let's just look at layoffs for the year, right? So we'll talk about that because I really want to get in. Now, were all of these triggered by AI? No, but each one of these has a note that says the company's reevaluating their technology strategy. And this is companies Stripe, Ubisoft, Autodesk, Workday, Boeing, looking Google, Meta, Amazon. And I think if you look at those, they're driving some other topics, like I said. But if you look at all of these, they're really talking about, like Intel had layoffs, a company-wide restructuring. Uh, Focus on AI, competitiveness. Meta, performance-based reductions, restructuring Reality Labs division. If I look at that, if I look at Google, restructuring platforms and device unit, including Android, Pixel, Chrome, part of the AI focused restructuring. In each one of these, they've all talked about AI. And I don't think you can skip it. I don't think you can maneuver around it. I know when I went to college, I know that seems so strange to say this, but so many years ago, there was a programming course I had to take. It was COBOL. And at that time, I didn't want to take it because I was like, well, COBOL is one of those older languages. I mean, even at my age, at that moment in time, I didn't want to take COBOL because I didn't think it had like legs underneath it for the future based on what I was learning. There are still people hiring COBOL programmers today. While I would say there are far fewer, and if you're still doing that, I love you. Great. I'm glad that you found something that you love and that you are being highly paid for it now, because having those skills now, there's not a lot of people on the market that are in that boat. But will AI change that? Will it change the need for something where you have an older technology? Will it open up a road, a way to move off of that, what we would call legacy system, onto a more advanced or onto a modernized system where that's not needed anymore? In the past, that's been, there's been a lot of cases. I read something the other day, bunch of software developers talking about, you can't just put things out in the wild without testing it and without all of these things. And you can't just replace some of these legacy systems. I think now maybe that, that comment or that statement may not be as true as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and definitely think that that is changing the way we work in the workplace. All right, I'm going to shore this up a bit, just jumping back into, I said it's Thinking Thursday. The reason why I talked about the layoffs, I want you to think about what would happen if tomorrow you go into your employer and they found out how to modernize your job and maybe not replace you, but shift your focus to AI. What would you do? How would you get up to speed? What would you do to close that gap? What if you're leading a group of people, a group of team that suddenly now the company has decided, and you may be involved in this decision making, hey, we are going to lean in on AI and we want our teams to come up to speed on generative AI, but we also want them to look at tool sets, things that maybe they're not mainstream yet. Maybe there are tool sets out there that would benefit the company. And, before you can build your own tooling, maybe using that tool set might be the right thing to do. Maybe, ChatGPT is not structured enough. Maybe Copilot's not the thing you want to jump into. It could be various reasons. You could have various technology reasons. Could be privacy concerns. Could be many things. But the thinking on that is, what would you do? How would you close the gap? Those are the things that I am working to do with my coaching clients, with my business to business aspects, is to help teams and help individuals overcome the skills gap, not only in the technology space, but also in the leadership space. Leaders today have to change the way we think. I've been a leader for years now. I know I've had to change the way I think. I know I'm having to look at things differently from different angles than I ever have in my career. It's not just about that technology's changing, our world's changing. We're in the information age. We are literally drowning in information and trying to find the right ways and the correct ways to use it every day. And our teams need leaders that can help them to decipher, what is the right thing to do at the right time, particularly in these times when these big shifts are occurring, but also supportive leaders, leaders that understand, look, my life does not rotate around everything in that employer. I'm not going to work every day so that I can concentrate on, just benefiting the company. I'm going to work every day so that I can live a life of that I want, that I can enjoy, that I can look back upon and say, hey, I have made my mark on this world. I have enjoyed it, but I've also spent time with my family, with my friends. I've had those experiences that I wanted to have. All right. I've been wide open in this Thinking Thursday. Take a moment, think about where you're at in your career. If you're a technologist, think about the idea, not about being laid off, but what would you do if you really could change something in your job today? Or what skills gap do you have that you know, based on the things that I just talked about, that you're hearing in your workplace that you need assistance with? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. I would love to, get back with you and, maybe share some more thoughts on it. Maybe you'll put a thought provoking question in there for myself, because I am really, really interested in what people are doing to close these gaps in the technology space for the AI perspective. And also, what are they doing to close the gap for modernizing leadership? I had a friend of mine I saw the post today, Dave Gamble. I want to make sure I give him credit on this. He posted today, he said, leaders have to be 360 degrees today. They have to be 360-degree leaders. They've got to be willing to sit in that space. They've got to be able to influence those that are working with them, those that may be working for them, and or those that they're leading, working for them. But the team that they have, corporate structure, too many years, got to work on language. But the team that they're leading, and then also how do they influence their leaders? It's got to be 360 degrees. The market is changing. There are companies out there today that are doing things that we've never seen before with smaller and smaller groups because they're using AI tools. And it's only going to continue, folks. The market is shifting. Skills gaps are popping up, and these skills gaps have to be closed. And what you used to do may shift over. And if you get close the skills gap, you can move into a position doing something different. And it may be in the same realm of technology, but it may not be the way you've always done it. All right, closing it out with that. Hope you guys have a great Thursday. Thank somebody in your life today for always being there for you when you've needed them. That person that gives you that word of encouragement, that person that inspires you, and that person that, when the times are hard, they're the person that you call upon just to sit down and have a chat with to kind of balance it all out. See you guys next Thursday.